It was close to 2 in the morning when the noise began. At first, Laura thought it was trash cans. Raccoons were common out here, too common. But this sound wasn't clattering. It wasn't curious. It was crying, low, broken, dragged out, like something was running out of strength. Laura sat up in bed, heart already racing. She lived alone at the edge of town, where the forest pressed right up against her porch. You learned quickly which sounds to ignore. This wasn't one of them. She slipped on a jacket, grabbed a flashlight, and opened the front door. Cold air rushed in. The beam of light swept across the porch and stopped. A raccoon lay curled near the steps. Its fur was soaked dark around one leg. The body shook uncontrollably and wrapped tightly around its paw. A wire snare. The raccoon tried to pull away when the light hit it. The movement sent a sharp scream into the night. Laura froze. Wild animals weren't supposed to do this. They didn't come to people. They didn't crawl onto porches and cry unless something was very wrong. The raccoon's eyes locked onto hers. Not aggressive, not wild. Panicked. Laura's first instinct was to step back. Raccoons could bite. They carried diseases. Every warning she'd ever heard screamed at her to shut the door. But the blood pooling beneath the animal told her she didn't have much time. Slowly, she knelt. "Okay," she whispered. "I see you." The raccoon growled weakly, baring its teeth. But it didn't move away. It couldn't. Laura backed inside and grabbed thick gloves, a towel, and a pair of heavy pliers from the garage. Her hands were shaking so badly she dropped them once. When she returned, the raccoon was still there, waiting. The snare had cut deep. Each breath made the leg twitch. Laura moved carefully, keeping her face turned slightly away. "I'm going to help," she said softly. The raccoon didn't understand the words, but it understood the calm. It stopped screaming. Laura slid the towel over its head, blocking its vision. The body stiffened, then went still. She worked the pliers around the twisted wire. One slip, and she'd make it worse. The metal resisted. Her hands ached. Finally, the wire snapped open. The raccoon collapsed forward, free. Laura pulled back immediately, expecting it to bolt. It didn't. It dragged itself a few inches away, then turned its head toward her, still watching. She wrapped the injured leg gently, just enough to slow the bleeding. Then she sat back against the doorframe, breathing hard. The raccoon lay there for a long time. Then it did something Laura would never forget. It lifted its good paw and placed it on the wooden step, as if testing whether it could stand. It failed, but it tried. Animal control didn't answer. Neither did the wildlife center. A storm had knocked out lines across the area. So Laura stayed. She kept the porch light on all night, refilled a shallow bowl with water, sat nearby without moving. The raccoons slept in short bursts, waking whenever she shifted. Morning arrived, pale and cold. When the rescue truck finally pulled in, the volunteers were quiet as they examined the leg. "This snare would have killed it," one of them said. "Another hour or two." They loaded the raccoon gently into a crate. Before closing the door, it looked back at Laura, not scared, just aware. Weeks passed. Laura replayed that night over and over, wondered if the raccoon survived. Then one evening, just after sunset, she heard footsteps. Light ones. She opened the door. A raccoon stood at the edge of the porch, cleaner, thinner, one leg stiff, but working. Behind it, two smaller shapes peeked out from the trees. The raccoon didn't come closer. It didn't need to. After a moment, it turned and disappeared into the forest. Laura stood there long after the porch was empty. Some animals don't forget who helped them. They remember where safety lived.